to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys having a great and exceptional day. It is Sunday. I'm going to do my, like I said, I'm keeping in tradition doing my Sunday meal prep and all that good stuff. I'm not doing my meal prep yet because it's still early, but hey. Doesn't mean I can't rant. So anyways, another weekend down, month's going by fast, and it's all good in the neighborhood, my personal opinion. But anyways, so at the end of the day, today's rant is going to be about, I would be a millionaire right now if I had certain mentorship, and if I had the right mindset, and if I had access to the right information, you know. Now, I say this now at the age of 40 years old because, you know, you get to be quote unquote middle age, you start to reflect on life and things of that nature. So for me, 10 years ago at least to 15 years, no, 10 years ago to 15 years ago at the least, if I had the access to the information in regards to business, investing, how to run a business, how to get access to capital, how to structure a business so that you can get more access to capital, my life would be different today. Now, is my life bad now? Absolutely not. I got a great life. Happy to be alive. Every day is a blessing, and, you know, regardless of the situation, I'll leave it at that. But I will say with all sincerity that I say I would be a millionaire right now if I did not listen to certain entities. I'll leave it at that, because we all go through school, and most people, working people, go through public school. They go through grade school, and if your family's not operating as a corporation, then you will. And if your family's just operating like, you know, your normal average family, there's nothing wrong with being normal and average. When I say normal and average, I mean just, you know, loving each other, which is normal, having a job, taking care of each other, paying the bills, spending family time with each other. Normal stuff, you know. For some people that's not normal because they come from a broken home. They come from parents that weren't that good to them. Sometimes people are orphans. You know, a lot of times, you know, people don't even know who their family members are, which is a sad thing, crazy thing. But at the end of the day, the purpose of this rant is basically to talk about specific subject matters in regards to, a lot of people could be millionaires right now if they wouldn't have listened to certain entities and wouldn't listen to the status quo. Because the main thing is, and I've talked about this 1,000 times, when we go through grade school, you know, we're just taught to, you know, to get a certain assigned task done. You know, get them done in a specific manner, get it done in a structured way. That's why I just, if you're on my Instagram, this video I posted was Sylvester Stallone said one of the realest statements in a movie. And he said that the purpose of, you know, the reason why employers will hire you to, if you have a college degree, especially during the, you know, it was really big starting in the late 80s and early 90s. You got to go to college. You got to go to college. You know, the big push, you had to go to college if you wanted to get a good job in corporate America or with a government agency, whether it's federal, state, or local government. If you wanted to get a good paying job, you had to get a degree in something. You know, even if you could get a degree in Game Boy, but as long as you had a degree, a lot of times to corporate America specifically, it says, hey, you're trainable, because you were given, you on paper are proving that you can get assigned tasks done. You can be assigned a task, you can get it done in a specific manner, and you have the intellect and the discipline and the capacity to do that for a educational institution. So therefore, you should have the same mindset and capacity to be able to do that for an employer. So at the end of the day, that's what a degree tells an employer. Same thing, that's what a certification tells an employer. You know, is there anything wrong with what I'm saying? No, I'm not being anti-degree or anti-employer or anti-anything. I'm really not. I'm anti-nonsense. That's the only thing I can say, anti-lies. But this is a structured civilization, structured society. This is how things are supposed to get done. I understand that. I get that. It is what it is. Okay. So now that is out the way. So so an employer sees that. So even if you're a blue collar worker, hey, if you're a skilled laborer, not the unskilled laborer, but the skilled labor. There's nothing wrong being an unskilled laborer, but you get paid more when you're quote unquote a skilled laborer. Or skilled, not labor, but skilled tradesman. Person with a skill set. Meaning, if you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a welder, those professions pay much higher than just regular laborers. People who are CDL drivers, they get paid much more than people who are just boxcar drivers, So these are things to take into consideration because they had to go through a series of tests in school and show that they've been disciplined enough and they understand the job. And even with a CDL, you get the CDL, but then you have to take the next step up of getting your endorsements. And therefore that'll give you more responsibility, therefore it'll give you more pay. All right. So is there anything wrong with these things? Absolutely not. But the majority of the time when we're going through these specific processes, unless you're going through an Ivy League school, and if you didn't come up during the time now, like, people have been blessed with the half of the last 15 to 20 years, what I like to call YouTube University, having access to all these people that are, well, some who are skilled, because you have a lot of shady fake people on the internet, period. But people who are well-versed in their career field, well-versed in the businesses that they work in, and just being well-versed in regards to giving out education in regards to how to run a business and how to get access to capital, how to structure a business so that the banks will lend you money so you have a better opportunity of not being turned down for a business loan. So you can utilize your personal credit, you can get business credit, what are the best institutions to go to, things of that nature. Like me, myself, I'm going to open up a business bank account with Navy Federal because I know that they have a great history with working with other businesses and giving people access to capital, hence business credit. Buddy of mine just got $25,000 in business credit. Okay. And then being taught that, credit is good in regards to not just being able to, because, with society, yeah, your credit needs to be good so that you can buy a house to live in only. And your credit has to be good enough so that you can get a good car so that you can impress people. Or you can buy other items, because it's good for your economy. So you can buy a bunch of other items that just make you look good and make other people richer. So these are the things that we, all were taught. I mean, heck, I didn't really start utilizing credit until like the really last 5 years of my life in regards to, because now I have way more credit cards than from business credit cards to personal credit cards because I utilize it for fun. I utilize it for business, and I like the cashback rewards, and I love the airline miles. So to me, that's a win-win situation. All right. So, so I love that fact. Okay. With all sincerity, be able to have the opportunity to do that. Okay. So, yeah. So anyways, long story short, if I had the information and the mentorship and was around the kind of people who had the experience of owning businesses and talking about business credit, talking about being able to pull out equity lines of credit of a house, not just to make improvements on your home, but in order for you to buy more property or to possibly buy into a franchise or possibly just open up your own business, things of that nature, I would probably be a millionaire right now. On paper, a certified millionaire. Not meaning I'm balling out of control, ice watches and jewelry and all that other nonsense. And I don't even wear any jewelry. I don't wear rings, watches, chains. That's never been my thing. I'm a simple guy. And like I always refer back to the book known as The Millionaire Next Door. You look at Mark Zuckerberg or you look at Elon Musk, look at freaking whether you love him or hate him, it's irrelevant. Look at Bill Gates. These people don't dress fancy. These people, what you see, what they have on, it looks like something that somebody would have on from Target or Walmart. You know what I mean? So I leave it at that. So that's just one thing I take into consideration. But yeah, at the end of the day, when I think about these things, if I wouldn't have listened to especially me coming from the DMV, it's like a lot of people, prior service, a lot of people work in the government, a lot of people work in corporate America. Anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But, my mentors are people who had the mindset of being knowledgeable about how to become a great employee and how to become and how to step your game up in regards to getting skill sets in the job market, which is nothing wrong with that, and getting skill sets in regards to increasing your income. But there was never any real talks of investing money, their idea of pension plans were just the old-fashioned, I got my 401k plan, excuse me, or I'm getting money from the VA, or I'm getting money from the military pension plan, all that good stuff. And majority of the time, is there anything wrong with that? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what people were saying to me. But majority of the time, back then, I was just like, okay, great, but you're still working the same job that I work at. So if you're trying to one-up me, even in my 20s, I was like, if you're really trying to one-up me, I'm like, but you're still working the same job that I work at. So why am I supposed to be impressed with this stuff? Because I'm like, okay, if you're making all this extra money, what are you doing with it? The majority of the time, it goes into an overpriced house that they can't barely afford. It goes into an overpriced car that they can barely afford. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But then these would be the main people complaining about the price of fruit or the price of a sandwich somewhere, saying it's too expensive. Go figure. So, yeah, go figure. But anyways, at the end of the day, that was the mindset of people that I was around. You know, I'm coming up as a youngster. So now, for me, if I personally have the opportunity to be around people who, if I have the opportunity to be around people who are, you know, younger than me, I would never try to, and maybe it's just because I'm a humble guy, but I would never try to, brag in front of them and say, yeah, I'm Don Juan, I'm the king, I know this and I know that. I'm gonna listen to them because they could teach me something too. I know I can learn something new every day. A lot of my elders act like that people younger than them can never teach them anything. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to be one of those OGs as I'm moving up into OG statuses. I know I can learn something new every day. I was talking to my brother from another mother last night. We was having a nice, intelligent conversation, and I learned a lot, you know, and he learns a lot. So that's the kind of people I like to be around. But anyways, and another thing is, it's like, the main thing I would tell them is, and this is the kind of conversation that people don't hate to hear. They're like, hey, you have to learn how to make money in your sleep, because if not, you're going to work until the day you die. I always quote that from Warren Buffett, you know. And I like to talk about money, not from a bragging standpoint, not from a, you know, because I come from the, you know, I'm an 80s baby. I come from the era where my elders in front of me just like to brag about what they had and all that great stuff. When I like to talk about money, I'm like, hey, I want to talk about how I can make it, how I can save it, how I can invest it, and what's the next best venture that I could possibly look into going into. Okay, that's what I think of when I think of money. Okay, on some realness, I think of what's the next best venture that I can go into. But that's just me at the end of the day. A lot of people don't see that. So, you know, and like I said, the main conversation for me at the end of the day, the mindset that I wish to have had, not only that, if I could really just add on to it, I could have been retired by now from having a job, not just retired, because my idea of retirement is different from other people's. My idea of retirement is not the old-fashioned idea of retirement where you just, you know, you put in a certain amount of years and then you stop working and then you just do what you do. You know, that's not my idea of retirement. That's the old-fashioned idea of retirement. To me, I live life more on my own terms, and I'll just do work that matters. And that's the thing that's the most important to me. You know, I would do work that matters. And the title of this rant is, I would be a millionaire if I didn't listen to the media or people rant. Because, you know, especially, and so I told you about the people that, the elders that I listened to, like, and I'm not going to say everything, all the things that they told me were bad. No, majority of what they told me was way to help me become a great, successful employee. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not downing what my elders told me, you know. All right. So my point is, the point is, at the end of the day, is that, so I come from the DMV area. All right. You don't know what the DMV area is. It's really, really simple. DMV. D stands for Washington, D.C. M stands for Maryland. V stands for Virginia. All right. So it's a very expensive part of the United States of America. It's not as expensive as California or New York, but we're right behind them. Okay. Just like Philadelphia and Atlanta is right behind us. Miami, Florida is basically, the cost of living is as much as it is in the DMV area, if not more, because, you know, any major American city is being gentrified. But the media does a great job of scaring the crap out of people. I have my thing where I mock the media, where I say today's forecast, we're all going to die. All right. And I'm basically mocking the news because some things they do great, some things they don't do so great. And the thing that I know that the media does a great job at is scaring the crap out of people. And me, if I had the mindset that I have now, I would have bought, growing up in Northern Virginia, I would have tried to buy at least 2 properties in Washington, D.C. Now, you can't even get a 1-bedroom condo in Washington, D.C. as far as buying potential for less than possibly $500,000 today. Now, if a lot of row homes, certain single family homes in DC, you could have bought for $500,000. So that means 3 bedrooms, 1 to 2 bathroom homes. You could have bought back in, you know, before, during the housing crisis, that's what I wish, if I had the investor mindset, but I was too green and too new to real estate at the time. But if I had that mindset, I would have did things a lot differently. All right, but it is what it is. All right, that's 1. 2, and I've said this online a bunch of times. 2, like I said this during the pandemic, 2020, 2021. If I knew this information about real estate now, if I knew this 10 years ago, right, I would have bought at least 2 to 3 houses. Heck, I even would have tried to partner with family and friends. Let's buy some real estate in Washington, D.C. We'll come out millionaires. We'll sit on it as much as possible. We'll live in it. We'll rent rooms out so we don't have to pay the mortgage. All right. We'll take care of the property and we'll wait. We will wait. Because we see all the construction that's going on, especially with Clark Construction Company, that's still going on in the city of Washington, D.C. to this day. Hey, Marquita, with all the construction going on in the city of Washington, D.C. to this day with Clark Construction, with all the cranes and all that great stuff, if I would have bought at least 1, but trust and believe, if I would have bought at least 2 to 3 homes in Washington, D.C., just because of proximity. If I lived in California, during the recession, I would have bought homes in LA, house hacking. If you don't know what house hacking is, it's basically buying a house, living in it for a year, renting all the rooms out. And especially I was in my early to mid 20s back during the economic downturn. But anyways, house hacking is buying a house, renting the rooms out, living in the house for at least 1 year, then rent the house out, leave the house if you want to after that year's up, and then get another home loan and buy another house. If I would have did that at least 2 to 3 times in Washington, D.C., or say even for instance, if I lived in Miami, if I lived in New York, if I lived in Los Angeles, if I lived in San Francisco, heck, even Seattle, Washington. You know, I'm all Denver, Colorado. I'm all over the country. I'm talking about the most expensive real estate markets. If I would have bought a house from 2008 to 2014. All right, house hacking. All right, so this is for people that are all over the country and whatnot. I would be a bona fide millionaire right now, possibly retired myself right now, because what I would have done, I would have bought those houses below market rate, wait till when the housing market came back, and then by 2018, 19, heck, even during the pandemic, if I would have waited during 2020 and 2021, 2022, even to this day, I could have sold the house or all those houses for $1 million or more. $1 million or more. So let's just, and I could have got those houses for $500,000. Certain instances, $300,000. All right. So you do the math. Buy houses for $300,000 to $500,000. The value of the houses go up all the way to $1 million or more. Sell the houses, especially during the COVID lockdown, where everybody was basically putting all these 10 to 20 to 30,000 offers on the table, to where the sellers were like, should I pick here? Should I pick there? Should I pick this? Should I pick that? Literally making people millionaires. I would have probably most likely $3 million. All right, or $2.5 million, or just $1 million. Either way works with me. But that's what I get, like I said, for listening to the media and listening to society. So for all you people, even to this day, let's just stick with the DMV area. To all you people to this day that still listen to the news about Washington, D.C. is so dangerous. Oh my God, people get shot there. Yeah, because people don't get shot all over the freaking country. Okay, keep listening to the media. Chicago and Detroit is so dangerous. Oh my God. And most times when people have never even been to these cities, but you will listen to the freaking media that will tell you this, but then when you go to these cities and you see all these construction projects happening and these major cranes and corporations investing into these places, I follow the dollars and what the corporate players are doing. I don't follow what the media is talking about. You got to get the experience for yourself. Because when you freaking do that, boots on the ground, a lot of times you get the experience on your own. Heck, family members, people in my family who lived in New York City, lived in Norwalk, Connecticut, became millionaires because they owned real estate in those areas. And they didn't listen to the media. They went off of life experience, and they became millionaires by selling their real estate. You know, one of my uncles, rest his soul, I remember he owned 2 houses on the same block, Norwalk, Connecticut. And with that, he was able to have 2 different businesses. He had a car repair shop, and he bought a bunch of what is they call them, those construction trucks that basically that hauls materials and dumps it off. I forgot what they call those trucks. But anyways, he was able to do that. And even when he died, you know, because unfortunately his wife killed him in his sleep. But when he died, he was able to leave $2 million worth of assets to his kids and his brothers by not listening to the media, by owning real estate in Norwalk, Connecticut, and one of my other uncles by owning real estate in Queens, New York. When they bought that real estate when it was like $100,000 to $200,000, and when they died or they passed down the real estate and they moved down south, they was able to either sell the property and make $1 million or more, or they was able to hand that asset down to the children because they didn't even have a mortgage on those properties anymore. And the children, a lot of times, was able to either sell the property, keep the property, take equity lines of credit out of those properties and buy more real estate, or create their own businesses because they didn't listen to the media. So that is the biggest thing that I'm leaving everybody with on this aspect. Okay. A lot of people would have became millionaires in the DMV area if they would have held on to their real estate in Washington, D.C. or Alexandria, Virginia. Now Prince George's County, known as PG County, because you have what? You have the National Harbor there. You got the MGM there. Everybody, if you own real estate in those areas, hold on to it, or wait for somebody to make you a straight up offer that you cannot refuse, because that is going to be the economic nest egg for not only you, but if you got a family in today's world, you need one of those economic nest eggs more than ever. Okay, so I'll bid you adieu with that. Stop listening to the media. Get the experience on your own. Now, if the media is telling you don't go to a war zone like Ukraine or Iran or Iraq, yeah, that makes more sense. But even when it comes to a lot of international affairs, I think people need to build their own perspectives and go from there. You know, the things that they always say was bad about Africa or bad about the Caribbean or other parts of the world, then how come so many people are becoming millionaires going to those other parts of the world? How come so many people are retiring in these third world countries? You know, sometimes you got to get the experience for yourself. Now, it doesn't mean be an idiot and go to places by yourself where you know that people are getting their heads chopped off and kidnapped. No, do your homework, do your research. But what I'm saying is form your own opinion, because listening to the media and a lot of times even listening to other people, you know, and when it comes to what I've said about investing, owning real estate in cities like New York or Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, don't listen to me. Just look at the numbers. Look at the numbers of what the price of the real estate is in 2023 compared to what the price of the real estate was back in the 1990s and early 2000s. Usually when somebody's trying to keep you away from a specific area, it's because they have plans for that specific area. I'm just saying. And then when people don't have a, you know, I mean, and I can even, like I say, go to, you know, a place like Southeast DC. Everybody's like, oh, it's dangerous. But why is the cost of living like insane there now? A place like Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn used to be a war zone. Now look at it, it's gentrified. Harlem, New York used to be a war zone. Now it's gentrified. Same thing. And even that, you even go to the South, you know, Atlanta, Georgia, the whole city is being gentrified. The whole city of Miami has been gentrified. Nashville, Tennessee has been gentrified. Dallas, Texas, Houston's next. Austin, Texas has been fully gentrified. You know, the power of owning real estate, the power of families acting like a corporation and not just acting like the Brady Bunch and whatnot. That's where we're at. It's not even where we're going. That's where we're at. And if your circle of people, and I was telling a friend of mine last night, if your circle of people are not talking about business and investments, get the hell away from them. I'm just keeping it real. I got nothing more to say about that. Get the hell away from them, because it's simpleton conversations. You can have that with people online. When you get that face-to-face with people, start talking some business, start talking about investments, and go from there. So on that note, do the great 3 free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. And as I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live broke like a fool. Take care.